sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm here in Hyderabad since yesterday, and
Okay.
today the day two. Today afternoon, late in the evening, I'll be leaving for back to Bangalore. Very nice to
Okay.
see you. Really grateful that you're associating with us on this topic ethics, and really it is exciting to hear your talk once again. And again, we will be having in Bangalore also,
Yes.
possibly in January, one or two sessions. So
Yes,
you
sir.
are welcome and thank you very much. And they will introduce
Okay.
you to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, before just we want to introduce our institute to you, ma'am. Very good afternoon, madam. Firstly, we
Good
extend
afternoon.
heartfelt thanks for accepting our invitation and joining us online from a busy schedule. So we are a pharmacy school, ma'am, and our institute is called as Vishnu Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. It comes under Sri Vishnu Education Society. It has been established in 2007.
Lodged by the Center for the Generalology at Tarva Hospital. She has recently launched one stop shop for the predatory journals. She is also a yoga teacher. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can start your presentation, ma'am. We
Yes.
look forward to learn from you. Thank you.
Yeah. Let me share the screen. Uh, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you,
You're
Dr.
welcome.
Jagdish, for involving me in your group, and I'm also learning a lot from these interactions. Thank you so much, and all authorities of Vishnu Pharma College inviting me for this. And today I'm going to share my experiences, what I have gained and learned a lot in publishing industry, because as a library science professional, we are very so closely associated with publishing industry, and this working with UGC for UGC care and some other projects, I gain a experience what kind of things are going around, and especially in conducting publication conduct and misconduct, as well as predatory journals, what kind of journals are proliferated during last 1 decade or more than that. So what I will just start with I know this is something I know that all of you are aware of this, but let me take quick look at it and then we will move further. Then we will understand more details about how predatory publishers are behaving and what kind of publishing practices are going on. So research is in French, researchy means to go about seeking. And I found very interesting definition by National Academies Press, Washington. If you could read this in blue, extend human knowledge beyond what is already known and present it to others in such a fashion that they can independently judge its validity. So it indicates that your research should be not only peers, but also lay people also should understand with some other way. So this is interesting image I know I found in the book by John Zeman, and I use it in my presentations because it shows how scientists they work from all disciplines and how they are observing the natural world. It may be represented by flower, but it may be everything from all branches of studies. It may be a chemical, it may be a uh, plant, or it may be human being or society. So scientists they're observing this natural world, what is existing already, and what they look at it with different perspective. So every person look at it that different way, and they have different research questions, and they discuss among themselves with through such gatherings and through conferences and many other ways, and they communicate to each other, and they finally communicate their research results into public archives in the form of research paper, or nowadays we have other media like online. So different types of publications, but I'm going to focus today only on journal because it is a major part of system and which is a vehicle for disseminating a new research. So these public archives are nothing but libraries, and nowadays online also digital libraries, where whatever you are discovering, it goes into this public domain and in archives, in print format or in electronic format. So this is what we can say a legacy by everybody. They have to work, leave it for the future researchers, and we should keep it this very, very clear and clean. So it should not be contaminated. So if these two researchers, they do the research honestly, our archives remain healthy. If there are some misconduct at this scientific community level, then our archives will get contaminated. And that's why we have to take care about it, that future generations will should not feel that what earlier generations they did, and then they will spend more time on searching the correct information. So what are the functions of journal? Let us see. The very first periodical which is published, or a journal published, Royal Society, Transaction of Royal Society, and Oldenburg Hook, who was editor. Actually, he was not scientist, but he was looking after this journal, and his contribution in taking out the first issue was very, very well known. And he in 1666, he in first issue mentioned the functions of the journal. So it is a registration. That means journal provide means for authors to register their claim to the work and establish priority of discovery. Certification, that peer review process certifies the validity and quality of the research, and they check whether results are not harmful to the union, to the society and human beings. Dissemination. Journal serves as a platform to widely distribute and share scientific findings with research community. And this vehicle is very important so that others will come to know. Archiving is a fourth function. Journals create the permanent record. And remember this, it will remain for long time, several years, and can be accessed and referenced over the time. So distinct different publishing practices as a researcher and students you should know. Open access and subscription based journals, green, gold, open access journals. Now this green, gold color coding is now not there, but still they recognize. So you need to know open access policies, article processing there are gold open access journals, which is a new trend last few decades that it has bypassed the library, and it is not a reader library pay model. It is author pay and it is open to the public. Preprint institutional repositories, index journal, research metrics, article processing. Sorry, it has duplicated. I just mentioned ethics you should know. So let us see the publication misconduct, what is happening, and we will explore the complex issues of unethical practices in academic publishing, from definition to causes and consequences. So what is ethics? Let us start because I'm talking about ethics. This word we need to understand. So ethics is a branch of philosophy that studies the difference between right and wrong. So do the right thing. It is important so that it will not be harmful to the others. So in medicine, physicians abide to rules such as do not harm, promote the patient's health, maintain confidentiality, and honor the patient's right to make decisions. This is a good book from this book. It is very interesting book, and they have mentioned about all ethical practices in medicine and other areas. So these four points are equally applicable to all branches of study. Only thing here, patients, you have to replace it with the society. These are the unethical practices what we have observed in last several years, and that's what I want to make it obvious to all of you and should take a note of it. So during 2023, more than 10,000 research papers were retracted because of unethical practices in publishing and research. Not only publishing, unethical practices are happened in at research level, and then they documented as it is in publications. So publications get contaminated. If you see the graph, this is published in Nature, and 2013 to 2023, large number of retractions happened, and this is because of unethical practices in research and publication. Plagiarism, just now I think Professor Pichai sir was talking, I just joined for a few minutes. He was talking about plagiarism. So plagiarized papers retracted from engineering journals after retraction. These are some of the news from Retraction Watch database. So you must subscribe this database to know what are the unethical practices going on. Who might commit misconduct? So who are involved in this? Authors and researchers, editors and reviewers, publishers and funders. So all those who are involved in the cycle of publication, all are equally responsible for this misconduct. So researchers may engage in misconduct such as fabrication, falsification, plagiarism, improper authorship, redundant publications, undeclared conflict of interest or many levels. Editors and peer reviewers could exhibit bias in selection, cronyism, breaching confidentiality, intentionally delaying publications of rivals or from certain geographical areas, and plagiarizing text, ideas, and data for which they have received the papers, they can plagiarize from it and they can reject the papers. Publishers and funders. Publishers and funding bodies may suppress inconvenient results or delay the publication of research findings that contradict their interest. So that is funders, they if they give funding for good results, if they don't receive good results, because it is a science, this may happen. But then that level, they do the misconduct. Definition of misconduct, if you see US Office of Integrity, ORI, defines it very interestingly. Falsification, fabrication, or plagiarism in proposing, performing, reviewing, and reporting research. So at fourth level, four levels, if there is a kind of FFP happen, then it is a misconduct. So fabrication, that creating a false data or results, falsification, manipulation of whatever results you have received, and plagiarism, I think it's a kidnapping of ideas and words without proper attribution or permission. So let us see in little bit detail that falsification is a manipulating the data or research material, equipment, processes, and changing or omitting the data or results to misrepresent the research in the record. So to get the good results, positive results, this is happening. And if you see the examples, I will tell you, fabrication is a data made up that somebody is not involved, not collected the data, but it is made up artificially, and they mislead the research. So example is poorly designed research studies, image manipulation, fake peer review, machine generated papers, and sold or auction of research papers. I'm going to focus on that. So duplication is, if you see some of the images, I'm not a scientist, but whatever I have found, lots of papers are retracted because of this duplication of images. So Elizabeth Beck from US and some other research integrity expert knew this branch is also coming up. They have found such kind of manipulation at Western blot images in laboratories, and detecting such discrepancies require close inspection and pattern recognition to uncover the potential manipulation or fabrication of experimental data. On her blog, Bick has listed more than 1,000 papers, and many of them are retracted over the period. Plagiarism is, again, it is a kidnapping of some ideas, words, or kind of ideas. But unfortunately, ideas are not plagiarized, not copyrighted. So, but still, ideas can be plagiarized from the papers, and then papers get rejected. Self-plagiarism is also, to a certain extent, is a unethical practice. So, if you see watch, if you go to Retraction Watch database, there is an open domain, open access database where more than 5,000 or 50,000, I think, papers are retracted by various reasons. This is from some of the cardiology medicine paper and current problems in cardiology, and it is because retracted because of plagiarism. I could not list all of them, but there are many such papers you can go and see there. Salami publications, that is redundant publications. Lots of many times it is observed that from one project people write several papers, and this example is one project 33 papers from one study, and these are also unethical practices because there is nothing new. but unnecessary. The public archives, which I told initially, are getting contaminated because of such papers, and then literature review becomes very difficult. This is another case, I think, blot on the field, which recently discussed Alzheimer disease case in June 2024. If you see this, this paper, Alzheimer papers, was first why this is happening, why this disease happened, was published in 2006 in Nature, and some oligomers. I'm not expert from that, but they mentioned this is happening because of this reason, and this was discussed several years, and after 16 years people found that after spending a lot of money, wasted NIH funding, and wasted thinking in the field because of people are using these results. So the results of this paper were used by many laboratories all over the world, several companies, to pour the money in this in medicine, and finally there is no medicine. So last 2 years, Science, which is another magazine, very prestigious, credible magazine, they worked on it and they found the images used in this paper in 2006 in Nature were falsified, fabricated. And if you go to PubPeer, you will find lots of comments on this. And the paper was retracted in June 2024 after almost 16, 17 years. So if you see the note, they have mentioned the authors wish to retract this paper. Concerns have been raised regarding figures in this article, including figure 2C and supplement figure 4, which shows sign of excessive manipulation, including the slicing, duplication, and use of eraser tool. But the main author, corresponding author, was not very much sure to retract this paper, but finally the paper was retracted because of manipulation of data. Unfair authorship, again, there are many more authorship, unfair authorship types, but I have listed only three. In a jest, those who are involved in doing the actual work, their names are omitted. Especially this is happening in universities, colleges all over the world, that students, they work hard, but their names are not included as an authors. Gift authorship, that two groups from two different countries or two laboratories, they gift the papers each other, they include their names. Guest is that if someone's name, if I add it and gift it guest as a guest, that person should not have to work, but then their names will be included, and it's like so that the paper will get accepted because of the name of that guest. So such kind of several papers are also retracted because of this. If you go to Committee on Publication Ethics website, Retraction Watch, and there are few blogs, they list such kind of cases. Informed consent, again, unethical practices in informed consent. So any research where human as a subject is involved, informed consent of that person should be upheld first, and then the experiment should be carried out. And I think in a pharma company and clinical trials, all of you are aware of this. And this is not only in case of medical or pharmaceutical or hospitals, but it is everywhere, that hospitals, social science research, even if you are downloading any software or app on your phone, or in banks, if you are filling the forms, you should read it very carefully. And if you don't read it carefully, they accept it as that you have read, and then if something happened later on, you have already given. But lots and lots of unethical practices are going on, and these are some of the cases which I have listed here. In India, that HPV vaccine demonstration project in Andhra Pradesh was uh, shut down after some time because of unethical practices in informed consent. And more than 441, or I think it's more than that number of papers are retracted because of this unethical practices in informed consent. You are maybe familiar with Nazi medicine and Nuremberg trials and Tuskegee syphilis experiment, where such kind of unethical practices happened for several years with prisoners and with children without knowing them. Lots of medicines were tested on them. Undeclared conflict of interest. This is also very known one unethical practice, that a very simple example, our day-to-day life is that sitting in the office, we are not working for office. We are working for our family, or we are working in my personal interest. I'm using all kind of facilities of my office and not working for the office. That is also a conflict of interest. Personal, involving family members or close friends in your research, employment, shareholder, patents, research grants, financial. I will not read all of them, but conflict of interest is an area where we need to talk and have a workshop whole day, that you should understand what kind of conflict of interest indirectly you may get involved into that. So let us see, go further. Paper mills is another area that one should know, that papers are outsourced for writing. Not only writing, but even experiments they conduct outside, and you don't have to do anything, you just have to pay. This is happening because research or research productivity of researchers or institutions or maybe academic scientists, they are linked to the promotion, and to get funding from funding agencies, they need your publications, and you need large number of publications to prove yourself that you have done this research. And based on those numbers, you will get the promotion. And that is in academic all over the world that is happening. And that is why suddenly publications become more important after 1980s onward. It has a big history, but I will not go into this. But that is why long back it has started that giving outsource the papers to write by some experts. Maybe experts or not experts, even machines can generate the papers. So paper mills are the companies. This is again from for better science, and some of these papers are from nature and science. So companies that produce scientific papers on demand, writing bogus papers for bogus researchers in thousands. And criminal science publishing gangs, they have mentioned producing fake scientific papers for and with false content. So we do not know the contents are good or not, but they claim that they publish it in Scopus or Web of Science or credible journals. So this is a page of Russian paper mills, and where you can buy a paper online by ordering like this. So this is very interesting comic I found, or image, that they are ordering the paper to this lady, and she will then give you the ready-made paper. And you, there is an interface on all of these paper mills that you can order the whatever money you have, you can order the place of this publication, third place, second place, and you have to pay. They claim the papers are Scopus Q1. Not always this is true. They may misguide you. So you should be very, very cautious about selecting the journals and should not fall prey with such advertisements at all. There is a misconduct at citations level. Citations are nothing but the paper. If you have if you are writing a paper, who cited your paper? So if somebody cite your paper, then you get one citation for your paper. So after publication, how many citations you have received? Based on the citations, impact factor of the journal, and there are many other quantitative measures depend on citation. So citation become an important ingredient for this kind of quantitative measures. So once publishers and others, they come to know that citation matters a lot in academic field or in other fields, why not to have a misconduct at that level? And that is why there are lots of misconduct happening at citation level. So whenever we cite paper, when we select a paper for citation, we should be very careful. You should check from which journal you are citing. Who are the people they have written this paper, and in which journal they have published, they are from which institutions, and whether the journal has credibility in the market or not. What is the impact factor of that journal? Is it real? Whether it is or false or fake, or it is made up, or it is a real from the journal citation report. We will see that in few minutes. So citation bias, systematically ignoring papers that contain contents conflicting with the claim. Citation ring, one way that gets cited, you form a group and two groups will cite their papers. Coercive, that editors and reviewers, they will force researchers and authors to cite their papers. And citation stacking, anomalous citation activity that sees the disproportionate number of citations. For each word, some you will get citation unnecessary. So because you need to give citations so that more citations your paper may get accepted. Citation distortion, again, it is observed was claimed without actual supported the data. So it is sometimes indirectly related paper, but it is cited. And the last one is very much difficult one to grasp, that is pay and cite. So publishers offer money to cite the papers published in their journal. So for example, the first one, this is a journal, this is a paper which is not published at all. This is a fake paper or phantom paper, we can say. It is not available. Such paper is not existed, but it may be given in some context, like some journals, they give you instructions to author, you have to cite papers like this. So the format they have given style guide. So somebody has picked up that paper and cited it, and the paper cited received citations every year, every time. Even though I have mentioned here 400 times, it may be 1000 times or plus. Then publishers offer cash for citation and to increase the citations and their impact factor. One service I found about the Google Scholar, that this William F, I don't know who is this person, but he has come up with a packages like basic, standard, and premium. So if you pay accordingly, your Google Scholar citations will get increased. How they work, I don't know. It is difficult to find out. But if you want 10 citations, 5 days, you have to pay $100, 20 by 10 days, and 50 by 21 days, you have to pay accordingly. So if you get such kind of invitations, just ignore them. Now this ChatGPT, I think everybody in this hall, they have experienced ChatGPT, and I don't have to say much about it, but use of this AI, see what happens in papers. This phrase regenerate response found in one paper or in some many papers. And uh, if you see, this is a discussion part. And in discussion, the paper is published in Environmental Science and Pollution Research. In this text, they suddenly found a phrase which is maybe unnecessary phrase, irrelevant phrase, unexpected phrase they found, regenerate response. This indicate the paper is developed or written by ChatGPT. And this paper you cannot have, you should not believe that whether such results are really happened or not. And this is very harmful or harmful in case of pharmacy, medicine, where direct human beings are used as a subject and for experiments. Another example, uh, this is also from radiology case report, and they forgot to see what ChatGPT has responded, that I'm sorry, but I don't have access to real-time information or patient-specific data, and I am an AI language model. They forgot to remove these sentences, and the paper published. So the question arises of editors, editorial check, reviewers board, and how they have reviewed this paper and it is published. So this is a questionable. Then, so every researcher should know FFP, peer review process, what exactly happens at peer review process, selective reporting, redundant publications, unfair authorship, informed consent, undeclared conflict of interest, retraction of papers, citation misconduct, paper mills, and predatory journals, which I will cover in next 10 minutes. So there is a catalog of bias, and David Sackett, who published this, there are 35 biases that arise in sampling and measurement in the context of clinical trials, and listed 56 biases potential affecting case control and cohort studies. Cohort studies where informed consent is not sought during the experiments, but there are different kind of methods for cohort studies. So you should check this catalog of bias. So come to the next part, which may be a last. I will take not exceed my time. Predatory journals. Predatory journals is looking at it that you have to pour the money to get the publication out of this. So or why do researchers publish in predatory journals? So first is fear of job loss and publish or perish pressure continuously on doctors, academicians, professor, teachers, newly joined teachers, PhD students. They have to publish papers, or you will get perish. Failure to publish in index journals. Index journal is again a very popular term these days in world recognized databases. Journals which are indexed like Web of Science, Scopus, and there are 5,000 plus good databases available across all disciplines. Rejection by standard respectable journals. Rejection is always very much depressing one, and unnecessary depression, that is actual rejection is a learning phase. So still many papers are rejected. My own papers are rejected several times, and we take the advantage that how to improve that paper. So because of inadequate research, or there may be some kind of biases that may happen, competition among colleagues, desire to score higher in gain the respect. That never happens if you write 100 papers in predatory journals, but two good papers in good journals will you will gain the respect for those two papers. Lack of awareness among researchers and new faculty members. That is why this session is organized, to know many things about it. So rejection, and at this level I just want to point out the preprints, where if you are confused that my paper is good and it is value added, it is a novelty, if I send it for the journal, it may get plagiarized at that level. So I will upload my paper to preprint server. And there are lots of preprint servers available where you can upload your paper. So you will get a date stamp that this is like the four functions given by Oldenburg, that you will get the credit for that if it is uploaded at preprint, so that it will be available in public domain electronically and you with date stamps, so nobody can steal your paper. Later on you can submit it to the journal. So predatory journals, first it was defined by Jeffrey Bill, who was working at Aurora Library in Denver University, and then he retired, but he coined the term predatory open access publishing. So this open access publishing is an exploitative open access academic publishing. Open access is again another connotations and a lot of things you need to know about the open access. So go to open access website on online and find out. So open access means not always have to pay by users, but new journals which comes under gold open access, there it is a author pay model. Proper use of ISSN and logos of standard publishers they use. Contact details are absent most of the time. No contact details are available. They just are available like editor ad, and false locations. Offices are locally available, but their address is given outside India or outside the country. Lack of information of editorial board, and many editors are not aware that their names are included in such kind of journals. So be aware, if you get some spam mails, you should be very careful. Check all details, whether journal is really international, whether it has proper contact details, or editor is given an editorial credentials also you need to check. So it major important is that lack of peer review process. So hurdles are not there. So you can give paper, and if you see this Journal of Pharmacy, that average publication acceptance 5 to 7 days, and you will get in 30 days your paper published, or paper is accepted, submitted 22nd October, 27th October, it is accepted and published immediately. So they have nowadays the trend is backdated papers. So if journal is indexed in Scopus for certain years, predatory publishers will create a replica of that journal and start sending spam mails that we will publish a paper in Scopus journal, index journal during that period. And it is a backdated publication. Then impact factor, false impact factor. I'm sure all of you know how there are 25 such false impact factor providing agencies are available. So they will charge for you for higher impact factor. So impact factor 25, 20 or 5, they will charge accordingly. So if you see universal impact factor, site factor, Cosmos impact factor, don't select such journals because impact factor is provided by journal citation report by Clarivate Analytics. If you see, this is a Criterion Journal of English impact factor 8.67. Impact factor also, the main ingredient of impact factor is citations. So based on earlier 2 years papers received in third year citations, it publish the impact factor. So you need to know the citations for your papers in indexed in Web of Science journal. So Web of Science, out of today 3 lakhs plus journals are publishing, only 25,000 journals are indexed in journal citation report and Web of Science having proper impact factor. Rest of the journals, they do not have impact factor. So false indexing databases, like they claim their journal is indexed in Scopus. Scopus and Web of Science, they have less number of journals out of 3 lakhs because they verify the journal at different level. They check journals history, editorial board, reviewer board. They check consistency in publishing. They have 50 plus criteria to index the journal in their databases. But then predatory publishers exploited those indexing databases also. So they again work pay and index, and they index the journal, all types of journals they index. So these are some of the false indexing databases where they index based on the payment. They don't check the credibility of paper, authors, or even research published in that paper. Types of predatory journals, these are of different types, shoddy and sham journals like pay and publish model they are following. Clone journals, that this is a print journals. There are several print journals in India in Indian languages. And we found homeopathy journal or some journals in Urdu, which are very credible one. So, but these publishers, they exploited and they publish print to print same copy. Initial pages are same, but internal articles are totally different, but they work on payment basis. So it is very hard to come to know print to print clone journals. Hijack, they mimic the original publishers, and Current Science, which is India's leading journal, was a duplicate hijacked by certain publishers, and it was look alike. It was very difficult to differentiate original Current Science. Cronyism, that many institutional publications are there and majority of the authors, reviewers, editors are from internally appointed or group of friends from some other institutions on board of reviewers. These are some of the examples I will show you. This is original paper journal in Hindi and English they publish, which is in UGC Care. But this is something published in, see the title is unique hat, but the paper is from pharmaceutical industry. It is really very difficult to accept such kind of papers. So this is paid paper and in this unique hat in clone version. Not the is totally different subject area, but here they have education paper in education area, and this is original in Scopus. This is clone version, a duplicate version, and they claim it is in UGC Care Group 2, but it is not. This journal is in UGC Care. This is again Gradiba. This is Italian poetry journal, but there is a clone version, and students, new teachers, they fall prey with this. So what are the consequences? Because of this unethical practices, corruption in science and other disciplines, directly harmful to the human health. Journalists, we are witness during COVID that lots of news were flushed on internet, on news channel, and journalists may not be aware of such things and they may mislead people. Damage to the career of researcher, institutions, and our country. Loss of money, waste of time and efforts. Practice and policy may be based on fraudulent research, and future research and funding may be misdirected. So battle against this is Jeffrey Bill, who started first identifying such journals. Center for Journalology, Canada, under the leadership of Dr. David Moore, they have They have launched the one-stop shop for predatory journals resource, and they have published lots of information and papers in Nature and Science. There is a list from Kurdistan, and they are also working. Cabels is a commercial initiative and very high cost database. And in India, UGC Care initiative by University Grants Commission to fight back to predatory journals. So Group 1 includes all language journals published in India where they hardly get place in international databases because of English dominance, and science, majority of the journals are from science. So in India, we have more than 300 journals collected in Group 1, published in various branches of studies and in 20 different languages like Hindi, Urdu, South Indian languages, and all languages from India. You must visit the website. Uh, so finally, criteria should be checked for selecting the journal: ISSN, publisher address, editorial board address, check editor's credentials, quality of articles, papers, impact factor, whether it is given correct or not, index database is credible or fraudulent one, check it out, journal language, publishing frequency, journal is publishing papers in short duration of period, and check the current issues. You must check Committee on Publication Ethics website. Lots of cases they have mentioned. Think, check, submit, which will help you to select good journals. Retraction watch, where you will find unethical practices which are retracted, and also for Better Science blog is also similar to retraction watch. So I want to conclude with research integrity. You should follow ethics and morals in research. Publication ethics, avoid FFP and self-plagiarism. Be aware of various policies like publication ethics, plagiarism policy of your country, and author paper submission policies. Identification of good authentic journals and should not fall prey with predatory and clone journals. Understand the difference between submission charges and article processing charges. Should be familiar with various research metrics like citation, impact factor, H-index, SNIP, others. And you should familiar with standard setting institutions. Finally, it is an ethics. So you have to decide where what I want. I want to do good research and want to publish in good journals. I want to have integrity in my research, or I would just want to publish for the sake of publication. So no agency, no government can do in this case anything unless individual decide what they want. So whatever rules we have, you will have a rule. Everybody will try to break the rule. Similar thing happens when we stop publishing such kind of predatory publishing. Large number of predatory papers we found publishing over the period. So instead of controlling over that, why not to sensitize the users through such kind of workshops? And I want to thanks to your institution, Dr. Jagdish sir, Dr. Pichai sir, for such kind of workshops they are organizing to sensitizing the students. So thank you very much for your attention and wish you all a very happy new year 2025 with lots of good publications and following the integrity in your research. Thank you so much. If questions, I will take some questions.
Yeah. Before question, ma'am, we have our principal sir here. Actually, we have another event which is going on. You want to
Okay.
speak to you for a minute, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable guidance. And I think being a librarian in sciences specialist, I think you are more aware of all the things happening across the world. And I think just now I called my librarian wantedly to show that you are the role model for all of us, because generally knowing the science, publishing it in the right platform, and that's how you made your stand out from the rest of the crowd. And I think thank you for your wonderful presence here and
Thank you,
making.
sir.
I think we look forward to your personal presence also.
Yes,
So
sir.
maybe in couple of days, I think we'll make
Yes.
ensure that we call you. And I think our library activities are also good. We celebrate National Library Week celebrations, lot of activities. but I think uh, the knowledge you have is something beyond. I think I congratulate you for
Thank
developing
you,
that
sir. Thank
passion,
you.
and I think it's a very clear message to all of us that the knowledge you have, I think we should learn from you. Thank you so much for
Yes, sir.
participating in
Thank
this
you.
hybrid room. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And my suggestion that we can organize a small workshop and where they will actually work on and they will work on identifying the journals and others. So we do conduct such workshops 1 or 2 days and they are really good one. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. As you suggested, next series of workshop will be more hands-on rather than
Yeah.
presentation. Dr. Jagdish sir also suggested us. So definitely we take forward his suggestion, and next series of thing will be definitely it will be hands-on, such that
Yes.
with limited number of students
Yeah.
who are really motivated towards research.
Yes,
Definitely
sir.
look
Yes.
forward.
Yes. Yes.
Over
Do
to
we have
questions.
any
Any
questions?
questions? Yeah. Any question? Yeah, one question is there, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good
I'm Sani
afternoon.
from pre-final year, B Pharmacy. I have a question. How to publish manuscript in high impactful journal?
Yes, very good question. And I need a long time for answer this, but in short, I will tell you. If you are a student and a last year student, I hope you should think of publishing in quartile journals. Like instead of going to higher impact factor journal initially, go to Q4 journal first, then Q3, Q2, and Q1. So that will help you and gain the confidence that you can publish. When will you get the confidence that first paper is published? So you should not have that dream that immediately you will publish in high impact factor journal. It is a journey. You have to take step by step. So go to JCR, Journal Citation Report, or Web of Science, or even if you don't have access to that, I am sure you must have access, but not, then go to the master list of journals indexed in Web of Science and try to find out the 5 top journals in your field. First, list out. This is the assignment for all of you, all students. Whatever areas you are working, you should know the top 5 journals in your field, and also you should know why they are top, and then start top 5 and then the next one, 5 to 10, and try to select the journal first in quartile 4 journal, which is maybe the starting point, and then go ahead with higher impact factor journal. Because if you submit very high impact factor journal in your field, it may get rejected, and then that rejection is a difficult to digest, and we immediately get nervous, paper is rejected. So don't do that. Go step by step. So first assignment, find out 5 journals, and then important journals, journal finding tools are there. Google Scholar is there where you can find out the journals, and then look at into their papers, how they have published, what kind of methodology they have used, and then subscribe there. It is freely. You can create email alerts to those top 5 or 10 or 15 journals, maybe 50 journals you like to refer regularly. So once you subscribe email alert, you will get email about new contents, and that's why you can start selecting the journal first. So first step is selecting good journals in your area, then go for publishing in a high impact factor. I hope you got the answer.
Thank you, ma'am. It's grateful for interacting with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, this is Jagadi from third year.
Okay.
I have a question that what's the difference between Q3 and Q4 journals?
Yes, good question. And it is, for example, if you go to Web of Science or JCR, you will find different categories. For example, health science or pharmaceutical. So out of 25 journals, those journals which are focusing on pharmaceutical are ranked according to their citations received for the papers in those journals. So based on citation, your impact factor will get, for example, in pharmaceutical, there are, for example, 300 journals. So 300 journals in one area within pharmaceuticals, they are arranged into quartile according to the impact factor. So for example, 0 to 25 impact factor will be in Q1, Q4. After that, high impact factor will go in Q3, then Q2 and Q1. So Q1 journals within that category will have highest impact factor. I'm just giving example 0 to 25, but that category may not have high impact factor than maybe 5 or 10. It depends on which category you are. So within one category, you can find out the quartile based on the impact factor of the journal. So in pharmaceutical, maybe one category you take and you will find high impact factor journal in quartile 1 having 10 impact factor. So 10 to 10 impact factor to maybe 7 impact factor journals are in quartile 1. After that, quartile 2, then 3 and 4. So my suggestion to start with quartile 4 first, because you are a new students, you want to establish your name, so you are writing with your professor guide initially, and then you want to establish yourself as a independent researcher. So start with Q4 journal. I hope you are getting my point.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Uh, Hello, ma'am. There is a question from online student by name
Okay.
Anjali. She's a final year student.
Mhm.
Just she want to ask you that how many publications should I have if I want to go for clinical research further? If she want to
There is,
pursue MS in clinical research, how many publications she need to have? She's a fourth year student, and so that
okay,
she can
good.
plan admission in
Excellent
MS.
question. Excellent question, Anjali. I can see you there, but this question, I want you to go beyond this question. Don't keep restrictions how many papers. Don't stuck yourself into the rules of your government or grant or UGC or any other agency that given you. Why you want to restrict yourself to two publications, three publications when you are working hard for your papers, when you are working hard on your project? Why are you restricting yourself that I want how many papers? Just delete that from your mind. First thing, don't restrict it. I want to publish. I have worked hard. I want to publish many papers or I want to publish it. If you start doing that, that restriction and then the rules will go out of your brain, because we should not do research according to the rules that you have to write two papers and you have to work on that. See, if you focus on, instead of that, if you focus 100% on your research, you can publish n number of papers. So you should not restrict yourself the two papers. I have written four papers, you count two or whatever you want. It should be like that for students or everybody. Don't restrict yourself to two papers or three papers. I don't know how many papers should write by PhD students, because I don't restrict myself to these numbers. Focus on your research. I hope you got the answer. All students.
Yeah, ma'am. Hope so.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Majority of the questions were shooted to Balakumar. You're lucky. You're the last batsman.
Yes. And I hope they are having clear, or you can write to us, no problem. Write to me
Yeah,
if you have
sure.
any questions.
Yeah,
My email is with
definitely.
you.
Yes, ma'am. I'll share with the students and
Yes.
so that they can write up whenever they comes with as their third year students are here. If they want to go ahead and pursue their research, might be they can come some with concern. They will touch me. So at this
Yes.
juncture, ma'am, I would like to I extend heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am, for your time, taking you from the busy schedule and interacting with all our students. Definitely, your session has thrown a light on us, me individually also. Thank you, ma'am, for your motivation
Thank you.
and
Thank
inspiration,
you.
so that the
Thank
students
you.
may not get into the predatory journals and how to screen the journals. Definitely,
Yes.
your inputs will help our students to get into quality purpose. So that ultimate source. At this juncture, we would like to extend heartfelt thanks to Dr. Jagdish, who is an instrumental person to connecting all. We are very
Thank
happy
you,
to
sir.
we are fortunate to have him. He has connected everyone actually. Dr.
Yes.
Balakumar, yourself, and morning we had a lecture from Dr. Fred Senator. He's an head of cardiology and nephrology from US FDA. So, uh, so we'd like to thank you, ma'am, for your time. We
Thank
look
you so
forward
much.
to your physical presence at
Yes.
our institution, interacting with in person. So we look forward
Yes, sir.
to learn from you. There is
Yes.
another question, ma'am. With this, we want to close. It's again an online question. It's an M-Pharm student, a first year student. Their question is how to know the impact factor, how to calculate this impact
Okay.
factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I showed in that. Okay. For
Yes.
example, I will give you, if there is a journal called Health Economics, for example, and if you 2 years, 2007 and 8, in that journal, take the articles published in 2007 and 2008. For example, 2007 there are 50 articles, and 2008 there are 100 articles, so 150 articles in these 2 years. And in 2007 and 8 papers, how many citations received in 2009 for these 2 years of papers? And you have to multiply that, divide that number by number of papers and number of citations, and the result is impact factor of that journal, and that is published in 2010. So impact factor published in 2024 is for the papers received 3 years back and received 2 years, 3 years back received citation in 2023. So there is always a 3 years window period for citations. And I think if you go to Web of Science, they will show the impact factor, how they calculate. Actually, it was in my PowerPoint presentation.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so
Have a
much.
great day. Bye.
Yes, thanks a
Bye-bye.
lot. Bye-bye. Thank
So
you.
we'll break for the lunch. We'll join around 1:40 sharp, right? Sir is here, so we'll break. Try to come to Audi by 1:40. Thank you.